There are some concerning stories that simply are not receiving as much attention as they should. The first one I want to discuss is absolutely insane because Congress is trying to protect Monsanto and all such companies, and no one even knew this was happening. Now, by this point, I'm sure you guys know that weed killer Roundup has been found responsible for causing cancer.
Late today, a California jury awarded nearly $300 million to a former school groundskeeper who sued Monsanto, claiming its weed killers, including Roundup, gave him non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
This California couple has been battling cancer for 9 years, and they were just awarded over $2 billion in damages against Monsanto.
In fact, Bayer, which owns the product, is down the drain because it's lost so much money on these lawsuits over the last few years.
The creators of Roundup weed killer are settling most of that company's current lawsuits for more than $10 billion.
Bayer shares tumbled as much as 5% on Thursday. That after a US judge threw out its bid to limit the cost of future class action lawsuits.
And our current health secretary has even helped people get billions from Bayer.
When I sued Monsanto, we came across discovery documents that showed that it was an email exchange between the executive officers of Monsanto Corporation with the head of the pesticide division of the EPA for over a decade, a very well-known man named Jess Rowland. He was really secretly working for Monsanto, and they were telling him in these emails, you have to kill this study, you have to falsify this science. We went into court with about 2,400, mainly home gardeners, who had gotten non-Hodgkin's lymphoma from using Roundup. And in the first case, we won $289 million from the jury. The second case, we won $89 million. In the first two cases, the judge would not allow us to show that letter, the email exchange to the jury. But in the third case, the judge allowed us to do it. And we asked the jury for $1 billion, and they came back with $2.2 billion.
Like, at this point, there is no legitimate reason for any politician to support this heinous company from all those lawsuits, and yet multiple states have done so already. And now they're doing it at the federal level by hiding a clause in the Federal House Interior Appropriations Bill, which is more than 200 pages long. If you look up Section 453 of this bill, you'll find this. None of the funds made available by this or any other act may be used to issue or adopt any guidance or any policy, take any regulatory action, or approve any labeling or change to such labeling that is inconsistent with a human health assessment performed pursuant to the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, or Rodenticide Act, or a carcinogenicity classification for a pesticide. Now, that legal jargon might confuse some people, so let's break it down to see what they're essentially saying. If an EPA assessment has declared a pesticide safe, you cannot take any action against that chemical, even if new research shows that it's dangerous. You can only take action after the next assessment, and here's where things get absolutely insane. The last assessment of glyphosate was done in 2020, and it was declared safe. The next assessment won't happen until 2035, and even then, Bayer can just pause the assessment with a court order. So basically, by passing this bill, they will give these fertilizer and pesticide companies the same immunity they gave to, well, I can't really mention it on YouTube. I don't need to tell you why that's bad, so just call your representative right now to stop this nonsense because they're in a hurry to pass it. Here, I gotta give some credit to Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's the reason I found this story in the first place. Now, I've hated some of the things she's said or done in the past, but these days, she's probably the only member of Congress who is standing up against all of these ridiculous legislations. Don't forget, she was also the one who raised the alarm against the Genius Act.
The Genius Act, President Trump wrote an executive order on January 23rd, and specifically on exactly what the Genius Act is about, except they did not include what was in his executive order, which is a ban on a central bank digital currency.
The Genius Act has a backdoor capability into a central bank digital currency, and they are they're having a second vote on the ban on central bank digital currency. That should be included in the Genius Act. That should be a part of the Genius Act. It should not be separate.
Of course, the bill passed because both parties supported it. However, thanks to Marjorie and some bold Republicans, the House at least agreed to pass an anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. Now, this act can stop the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency, but once again, Representative Marjorie was quick to tell us that not everything was okay. In a long tweet, she said that every lawmaker knows the anti-CBDC bill won't pass the Senate because Republicans don't have enough votes. And that's the scariest thing about the whole situation, folks. I'm sure most of you know that if a digital version of our national currency gets introduced, that's the end of financial freedom for all of us. I mean, just listen to what the people at the World Economic Forum have said about it.
And the one final note I will make is that if you think about the benefits of digital money, there are huge potential gains. It's not just about digital forms of physical currency. You can have programmability. Units of central bank currency with expiry dates. You could have, as I argue in my book, a potentially better and some people might see it, or a darker world where the government decides that units of central bank money can be used to purchase some things, but not other things that it deems less desirable, like say ammunition or drugs or pornography or something of the sort. And that is very powerful in terms of the use of a CBDC.
Now, the president has promised multiple times to stop CBDCs from becoming a reality.
And tonight I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Do you know about that? Crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. And I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
However, I'm not going to lie, my trust in this administration has taken a big hit lately, so once again it falls on us, the people, to stop this madness before the Fed takes away our control over our own damn money. Now, moving on, I want to talk about this insane weather because now it's hitting Kansas City.
I've never seen a Kansas City police vehicle of any sort swimming, but that's the case that we have right now on 13th and 14th in Jackson. There you have it, standing water and a police van.
And just like Kerr County, people were sound asleep when the roads turned into fast-moving streams. Now, some people have commented on my videos that this kind of weather is not out of the ordinary, and I want to see how those people will react after seeing these stats. You see, between January 1st and July 15th, 3,048 flash flood warnings were issued by the National Weather Service. Now, that's already scary, but it's downright horrifying once you realize we've never had so many flash flood warnings ever since we started using the modern alert system all the way back in 1986. So I don't just share these flood stories to create panic. I do it because our media often refuses to show what's happening in our own backyard. But let's make one thing clear. We're not the only ones getting slammed by such weather events. What happened in Romania was even more shocking. And as if the weather wasn't bad enough, we have fires that have burned down thousands and thousands of acres in this country.
Confirming the historic Grand Canyon Lodge was consumed by flames, along with park administrative buildings, visitor facilities, and a wastewater treatment plant.
And the Nye County area is focusing on a lightning-sparked fire. They say it's 0% contained, and we're talking more than 36,000 acres.
Turning now to our continuing coverage of the Cram Fire in Central Oregon. The fire continuing to grow amid hot, dry, and windy conditions.
Tonight, nearly 600 teens are back home after a wildfire forced a mass evacuation from a summer camp in Wasco County.
Now, I want to end this video by sharing a pretty interesting and wild story. Something is sending signals to Earth from 154 light years away. NASA says it's just a super Earth called TOI 1846b, but this planet isn't normal. It's over twice the size of Earth and emits strange signals every year, always in March. NASA claims it's just a transit light dipping as the planet passes its star, but why is the signal that precise? Sounds more like a clock than a coincidence. And here's where it gets wild. It orbits a red dwarf, the exact kind of star scientists believe could harbor alien life. Surface temps hit 300 degrees Celsius, but the planet is tidally locked, meaning one side is always dark. If something intelligent lived there, they'd be on the night side. And it gets weirder. Scientists say this radius gap planet shouldn't even exist. So why is NASA deploying James Webb to monitor it now? What aren't they telling us? This isn't just a new world, it's a target. Something's out there. And these new signals come right after another unexplainable signal was captured in our cosmic neighborhood. Something 15,000 light years away is sending us signals, and NASA's acting like they don't know what it is. This thing's called ASCAP J1932-0911, and it's shooting out radio waves and X-rays, 2-minute long bursts, every 44 minutes on the dot. Here's the creepy part. It doesn't match anything we know. It's not a pulsar, it's not a black hole, not a dead star. NASA's best guess? Maybe it's some kind of magnetar, but even they admit they're not sure. And look, whenever NASA says we're looking into it, you know they're hiding something very big. What if this isn't just some weird space rock? What if it's alien tech? Something out there trying to send a message, a beacon, a signal saying, hey, we're here. Scientists have been hunting for techno-signatures, basically signs of alien technology, for years. And now we've got a blinking signal 15,000 light years away that we can't explain. The real question is, what happens if it's not just nature, but someone trying to get our attention? Let me ask you, what do you think about this Roundup update? Also, in your opinion, why were both parties so eager to pass crypto bills that could lead to CBDC? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you on the next one. Have yourself a wonderful day.